Friends are as companions on a journey, who ought to aid each other to persevere in the road to a happier life. The oldest, shortest words, yes and no, are those which require the most thought. Anger begins with folly, and ends with repentance. There is a good principle which created order, light, and man, and an evil principle which created chaos, darkness, and woman. There is geometry in the humming of the strings. There is music in the spacing of the spheres. As soon as laws are necessary for men, they are no longer fit for freedom. Silence is better than unmeaning words. Above the cloud with its shadow is the star with its light. Above all things reverence thyself. Concern should drive us into action and not into a depression. No man is free who cannot control himself. Begin thus from the first act, and proceed. And in conclusion, at the ill which thou hast done, be troubled, and rejoice for the good. Virtue is harmony. Do not talk a little on many subjects, but much on a few. Above all things, reverence yourself. There is nothing so easy, but that it becomes difficult when you do it reluctantly. No one is free who has not obtained the empire of himself. The most momentous thing in human life is the art of winning the soul to good or evil. It is better whether to be silent, or to say things of more value than silence. Sooner throw a pearl at hazard than an idle or useless word, and do not say a little in many words, but a great deal in a few. Beings have a soul. Reason is immortal, all else mortal.
As long as man continues to be the ruthless destroyer of lower living beings, he will never know health or peace. For as long as men massacre animals, they will kill each other. A thought is an idea in transit. Do not say a little in many words, but a great deal in a few.
Rest satisfied with doing well, and leave others to talk of you as they will. Strength of mind rests in sobriety, for this keeps your reason unclouded by passion. Anger begins in folly, and ends in repentance. We ought so to behave to one another as to avoid making enemies of our friends, and at the same time to make friends of our enemies. Friends share all things. Choose always the way that seems the best, however rough it may be. Custom will soon render it easy and agreeably to cling from the public ways. Walk in unfrequented paths. Number rules the universe. It is only necessary to make war with 5 things: with the maladies of the body, the ignorances of the mind, with the passions of the body, with the seditions of the city, and the discords of families. Silence is better than unmeaning words. Most men and women, by birth or nature, lack the means to advance in wealth or power, but all have the ability to advance in knowledge. Let no one persuade you by word or deed to do or say whatever is not best for you. Choose rather to be strong of soul than strong of body. The oldest, shortest words, yes and no, are those which require the most thought. Rest satisfied with doing well, and leave others to talk of you as they please. There is geometry in the humming of the strings. There is music in the spacing of the spheres. If there be light, then there is darkness. If cold, heat. If height, depth. If solid, fluid. If hard, soft. If rough, smooth. If calm, tempest. If prosperity, adversity. If life, death. Educate the children, and it won't be necessary to punish the men. As long as man continues to be the ruthless destroyer of lower living beings, he will never know health or peace. For as long as men massacre animals, they will kill each other. Indeed, he who sows the seed of murder and pain cannot reap joy and love. No man is free who cannot control himself. In anger we should refrain both from speech and action. Strength of mind rests in sobriety, for this keeps your reason unclouded by passion. Rest satisfied with doing well, and leave others to talk of you as they will. Be silent, or let thy words be worth more than silence. The experience of life in a finite, limited body is specifically for the purpose of discovering and manifesting supernatural existence. Salt is born of the purest parents, the sun and the sea. Geometry is knowledge of the eternally existent. A good soul hath neither too great joy nor too great sorrow, for it rejoiceth in goodness, and it sorroweth in wickedness, by the means whereof, when it beholdeth all things, and seeth the good and bad so mingled together, it can neither rejoice greatly, nor be grieved with overmuch sorrow. A fool is known by his speech, and a wise man by silence. Have foolish passions. Learn thou to subdue them, even as truth. Does error have its lovers? Wisdom thoroughly learned will never be forgotten. Learn silence. With the quiet serenity of a meditative mind, listen, absorb, transcribe, and transform. Number is the ruler of forms and ideas, and the cause of gods and demons. Number was the substance of all things. Let no one persuade you by word or deed to do or say whatever is not best for you. Concern should drive us into action and not into depression. Don't try to cover your mistakes with false words. Rather, correct your mistakes with examination. Sobriety is the strength of the soul, for it preserves its reason unclouded by passion. Friends are as companions on a journey, who ought to aid each other to persevere in the road to a happier life. Be a good son, just brother, spouse tender, and good father. Dear youths, I warn you cherish peace divine, and in your hearts lay deep these words of mine. Power is the near neighbor of necessity. Govern your tongue before all other things, following the gods. You should make great things, not promising great things. When the wise man opens his mouth, the beauties of his soul present themselves to the view, like the statues in a temple. A thought is an idea in transit. Alas, what wickedness to swallow flesh into our own flesh, to fatten our greedy bodies by cramming in other bodies, to have one living creature fed by the death of another. Don't disarrange my circles. The highest goal of music is to connect one's soul to their divine nature, not entertainment. It is better to be silent than to dispute with the ignorant. Wind indeed increases fire, but custom love. Truth is so great a perfection, that if God would render himself visible to men, he would choose light for his body and truth for his soul. Despise all those things which when liberated from the body you will not want. Invoke the gods to become your helpers. The animals share with us the privilege of having a soul, alas. What wickedness to swallow flesh into our own flesh, to fatten our greedy bodies by cramming in other bodies, to have one living creature fed by the death of another. In the midst of such wealth as earth, the best of mothers provides